Why me? Why my family? Why my dad or why my mom? Why my brother or sister has to suffer at this young age with cancer or other diseases? Why God has called my friend or a family member from this life so young? How is it possible that it has happened to me? Like this, we ask so many questions. When we do not find an answer, then we are shaken in our faith, and that leads to even questioning existence of God and His goodness towards the whole humanity and us. All of our problems are the same. Problems are forever and we cannot avoid them. You will wake up tomorrow and have problems for breakfast. You will jump on the train and read a problem in your email inbox. You will get to the office and get a problem smack and bang in your pretty face. The typical problems, sufferings, and griefs that we face in our life can be grouped into these categories. We did not reach our goal in our life. Someone criticized us. Our career was messed up. We have financial troubles. Our health or our loved one's health has become a real problem. We have lost our loved ones. A relationship ended. Probably have our hearts smashed into a million pieces when we discover that someone no longer loves us anymore. We feel like our life has no meaning. We feel like that we cannot go on. Our friends are screwing up our life. We feel stressed out. We must realize that we are not all alone, because 77% of people in the USA alone experience regular stress. My dear brothers and sisters, this evening I would like to reflect with you and find some answers to these questions in the light of the faith and life of the Mother Mary, because we are not all alone when sufferings and grief pierce our hearts, but we are standing with Mother Mary at the foot of the cross. When considering Mother Mary standing at the foot of the cross, it is good to keep in mind that sorrow is always related to love. We do not grieve what we do not love. The greater the love, the deeper the sorrow when the good we love is lost, threatened, abused, or violated in some way. Who can measure the sorrows of our Mother Mary? The fullness of grace abiding in her infused her with a love that completely transcended our human limitations. Because of this, her sorrow likewise knew no bounds. The two realities in her have been linked at various times to other titles, most notably Our Lady of Compassion and Our Lady of Hope, both beautiful because they speak to this union of love and sorrow. In the first reading from the book of Genesis, we heard that God asked Abraham, "Take your son Isaac, your only son whom you love, and go to the land of Moriah. There you shall offer Isaac up as a holocaust on a height that I will point out to you." You can imagine when you heard that word, his heart might have been pierced so many times. But we know that he had hope in God. He had trust in God, because God said, "I will bless you abundantly and make your descendants as countless as the stars of the sky and the sands of the seashore." In today's gospel, Simeon's prophecy as Mary and Joseph present the infant Jesus in the temple is the first public pronouncement to Mary of where her relationship with God, man, her child, Jesus, will take her. Simeon utters mysterious words. Behold, this child is set for the fall and for the rise of many in Israel, and for a sign which shall be contradicted, and your own soul, a sword, shall pierce, that out of many hearts thoughts may be revealed. These words are intriguing, but they can be understood from the perspective of Mary's unique motherhood. What a mother does not know her child so well that even those things that seem otherwise hidden are not hidden to her. As children, we were amazed by this in our own mothers. We would exclaim, "How did she know that? Does she have eyes in the back of her head?" Actually, no. But mothers have eyes at the center of their hearts. Love gives one a vision into things that are otherwise concealed. And that love encourages us like no other to remedy any evil or disorder in our hearts. With great solicitude, a mother knows us as we really are and draws us to become all we are meant to be. There is something interesting scientific research that gives support to this, even on a biological level. At a congress entitled At the Dawn of Human Life, organized by the Institute of Gynecology and Obstetrics of the Catholic University of Rome, during the Jubilee year 2000, Professor Salvador Mancuso, head of the Gynecology Institute, presented some fascinating findings. The research gave proof that beginning in the 5th week of gestation, when a woman realizes she is pregnant, an infinite number of messages pass from the embryo to the mother through chemical substances like hormones and neurotransmitters, etc., and the embryo sends stem cells that colonize the maternal medulla and adhere to it. Lymphocytes are born from here and remain with the woman for the rest of her life. Mancuso stated from the 5th week there is clearly a passing of cells, but messages begin at conception. Even during the first phases of cellular subdivision, when the embryo is moving in the fallopian tubes, there are transmissions through contact with the tissues touched by the moving embryo. Later, after implantation in the uterus, the dialogue is more intense through the blood and cells and chemical substance that enter the mother's bloodstream. Finally, the child's stem cells pass to the mother in great quantity both at the moment of birth, whether spontaneous or cesarean, as well as at the time of abortion, whether spontaneous or voluntary. When asked how long the fetus influence on the mother lasts, the professor answered, "Stem cells have been found in the mother even 30 years after the birth. It could be said, therefore, that the pregnancy does not last the 40 canonical weeks, but the woman's entire life. It is somewhat as though the thoughts of the child pass to the mother even many years after his birth." Dear brothers and sisters, this is what Simeon's prophecy is about, though in a spiritual sense. It is a prophecy of the universal motherhood that will be given to Mary in the agony of Calvary. As a mother knows everything about her children and suffers not only for but with her children, Mother Mary, in an extraordinary way, was so one with Jesus in his sufferings and death that she is rightly called co-redemptrix. As her soul was mystically being pierced on Calvary, Jesus opened up a place large enough within her to take on a universal motherhood for all of us. In one way, Mary's sorrows flowed from the sufferings of her innocent divine Son. In another, they flowed from her maternal union with us and our indifference and ingratitude toward God's unfathomable love for us. Her distress over those children who reject their father's love keeps her always at work and in intercession for the restoration of this relationship. She is near us always, helping us in all adversity, affliction, heartache, and difficulty. Saint Pope John Paul II puts it very beautifully this way: Mary Most Holy goes on being the loving consoler of those touched by the many physical and moral sorrows which afflict and torment humanity. She knows our sorrows and pains because she too suffered from Bethlehem to Calvary. Mary is our spiritual mother, and the mother always understands her children and consoles them in their troubles. Then she has that specific mission to love us, received from Jesus on the cross, to love us only and always so as to save us. Mary consoles us above all by pointing out the crucified one and paradise to us. Standing at the foot of the cross, Mary was able to find the healing power of the cross for her pierced heart and also find hope and strength on her journey along with the disciples of Jesus. The message of the cross is foolishness to those who are perishing, but to us who are being saved it is the power of God. So says St. Paul to the Christians of Corinth, chapter 1, verse 18. The message of the cross is the power of God because God acts powerfully through the cross of Jesus Christ. The power of God in the cross of Jesus Christ can be understood in many ways. It is a saving power, a reconciling power, a recreating power, a transforming power. It is also, as Pope Francis has told us, a healing power. Pope Francis, during a 2014 visit to South Korea, declared, "The cross of Christ reveals the power of God to bridge every division, to heal every wound, and to re-establish the original bonds of brotherly love." The power of the cross to heal every wound is also highlighted in the scriptural readings that are proclaimed during the Catholic Mass on the Feast of the Exaltation of the Cross. The cross on which Jesus was lifted has a power to heal, just like the bronze serpent of Moses. But the power of the cross is greater. It does not only restore temporal life, it bestows eternal life. Dear brothers and sisters, however, when we go through the sufferings, problems, when griefs pierce our hearts, if you don't have faith, then no explanation is possible. When you have faith, then no explanation is needed. Therefore, we go back to the square one and ask again and again, why me? Why me? We need to understand that when our reason fails, when we cannot comprehend by our reason, then we need to understand that faith complements. When I was in India first year as a priest in a parish, our Ascension parish, there is a woman. She is single, devoted all her life helping the orphanage children, fundraising for them, feeding them, helping the seminarians, priests, and whole life devoted. But she had cancer. When I went to meet her, she said, "Why me, Father? Why me? What did I do?" But the priests, those seminarians whom she helped, they had healing mass for her. And she was able to say, "Father, after that healing mass, I am able to say, why not me? So that's why I said, when reason fails, why me? The faith that we have, that hope we have in Jesus gives us healing and hope and gives us meaning. That is what we say in the life of Mother Mary. The angel Gabriel words to Mary, "Hail full of grace," announce a radical new turn in God's dialogue with humankind. God singles out a young Jewish woman and through Gabriel makes a momentous request of her to bear a son, the Son of the Most High. So Mary's question, "How can this be, since I have no husband?" is not a skeptic demand for proof that ends any further discussion. Rather, with her inquiry, she enters more deeply into the conversation, expressing a willingness to grasp something holy and mysterious. By pronouncing her fiat, "I am the handmaiden of the Lord, let it be to me according to your word," at the Annunciation and giving her consent to the Incarnation, Mother Mary was already collaborating with the whole work her Son was to accomplish. Mary's fiat, her yes to the Lord, was spoken from the heart filled with pure love for God. So again, when reason fails, faith complements. Therefore, dear brothers and sisters, let us allow the cross to be powerful in our lives, healing our hearts and soul that are pierced by our suffering and grief and reconciliation from sin, leading us to life and resurrection and anticipating the ultimate restoration of our bodies even now. Because the healing power of the cross of Christ can be effective in our lives and in the lives of those for whom we care, only if we stand with Mother Mary at the foot of the cross. Amen.